Good morning, children. So, you know different types of environment, isn't it? Where we live. Some animals live in water, some animals live on land, some live in air, isn't it? So, these are all different types of environment or habitat where the living organisms live. So, now let us see adaptations in different animals. How they get adapted to their particular surroundings. Let us see that. We see a variety of plants and animals around us. No? Plants will be there, different types of plants, small plants to very big trees you can see. And you find different types of animals also around us. If we observe carefully, we find that a particular plant or animal is found in a particular place only, isn't it? Sometimes what happens, some plants, if you see, they will be saying only in those places, not everywhere. And some animals you see only in certain places, not everywhere. Understood? So, the place or surrounding where an animal or plant survives or lives is called its habitat. So, now for example, fish if I say. Can you see fish moving on the land, on the road? Never. Where do you see fish? They will be in water only, isn't it? So, then habitat for fish is water. Where you see man? Man, can you see man in water? No. Where is man? Man is on the land, isn't it? So land is his environment, land is his habitat. That's the meaning then. So here they are given. See, if we observe carefully, we find that a particular plant or animal is found in a particular place only. The place or surrounding where an animal or plant survives or lives is called its habitat. Plants and animals live in different habitats like grassland, small insects. Where do you see? In grassland. Sometimes you can see the snakes also in grassland, isn't it? Oceans, some of the animals you see, especially the marine aquatic organisms. Where do you find? You find in the oceans or sea. Some of them are found only in rivers. Some of them are found on desert, isn't it? Now, for example, camel. When you take camel, do you find them in other habitat? No, especially they are found in deserts. Then polar regions. Now, polar bear, white bear, Kardi. Polar bears. Where do you find? Do you find in other places? In desert? No. They are found in cold regions. Polar bears are found in cold regions, especially in the polar regions, Himalayas and other things. Okay. Now, all plants and animals live in their particular habitats. So, I told you fish lives in water, man lives on land. Now, some birds live in air. Air means not directly air, at least on the trees. They will be flying and sometimes they take rest on the trees, isn't it? So, arboreal means trees. Like that you can find. All plants and animals live in their particular habitats. They live. Where do they live? Where do you find these organisms? If they get all the basic requirements from their surroundings, they live there. What are the basic needs they have to get? See, first one. Where they can find food. Food is very much required for any organisms to survive. Yes. So, if they are getting food from that surrounding, they will be found there. Where they can protect themselves. They should be protected. Now, especially now for example man, very cold, what will you do? You wear sweaters and all that and you like to be inside the house. You don't like to come out, isn't it? So, where they can protect themselves. Where they can reproduce, means they have to produce their young ones so that their species will continue. They have to produce young ones of the same time so that their species will continue. Understood? Then, where the climate suits them, the climatic conditions also should be good. Now, for example, camel cannot go and stay in polar regions. Polar regions it is very cold, desert is very hot. Now, polar bear cannot come and stay in desert. Why? Desert is very hot, whereas the polar areas are very cool. So, polar bear will be seen in polar regions, whereas camel will be seen in desert. Why? Their body is adapted to hot climatic condition, Whereas polar bears, their body condition is adapted to cold climatic conditions. Understood? So like that it differs. So where the climate suits them. To live in a particular habitat, an animal or a plant changes or adapts itself. To live in a particular habitat, an animal or a plant changes or adapts itself. Now for example, we'll take human beings. Now human beings, when they go to very cold areas, cold regions, what they do? What they do? They cannot wear the normal dress what they were wearing in the hot areas. They have to cover their body with wool or fur. They have to use cap, isn't it? And they have to use gloves. They have to use gun boots. All these things. Why? To keep their whole body warm, they have to use all these materials. But at the same time, if they are going in hot areas, hot regions, can they wear cap? Can they wear gloves? Can they wear wool or fur? No. Why? Leather and all they cannot use in hot areas, hot regions. Why? Because their body becomes too hot. Means they cannot bear that heat. You understood? So, what is said here? To live in a particular habitat, in any surroundings, an animal or a plant changes. It has to change or adapt itself. Now for example, if we see climatic conditions goes on changing. Summer season it will be very hot. In winter season it will be very cold. Can man run from here to there? No. Wherever he is, he has to change his way of living, his style of living, so that he will get adjusted to that particular environment or particular surrounding. So that is called as adaptation, adjusting to the environment as per his requirement. So that adjustment is called as adaptation. This process of changing in living organism to suit the environment is called adaptation. So he is changing himself to just get adjusted to that particular environment. That is called as adaptation. Now see here. Only living organisms that can change or adapt themselves to survive in different environment can live. Only those who can adjust to any type of environment only can survive. Otherwise what happens? They will not survive, they will die. If they cannot adjust, they will die. So only those organisms which can adapt to the particular surroundings will be surviving in that particular surrounding, particular environment. Now, see here, living organisms that cannot change or adapt themselves die out. Those who cannot survive, those who cannot adjust, they will not survive. They will die. Animals are found almost everywhere. Isn't it? Everywhere you find animals. In water you find, on land you find, on hills, in sea, etc. Everywhere you find the living organisms. They can be divided into different groups depending upon various adaptations. So like this, animals living in different areas and getting adjusted to that particular area, they have been grouped into different groups. They have been different groups. So adaptations based on habitat means what? Adaptations based on the surrounding. Habitat means the surrounding or the environment. Depending on their habitat, the animals can be divided into 5 groups. So the animals are divided into 5 groups. What are they? Terrestrial. Terrestrial means what? Which can live on land. Aquatic. Aquatic means which can live in water. Aquatic is water. Amphibians. Amphibians means what? Which can live both on land as well as in water. Land and water, both they can. Now for example, duck you can see, frog you can see. They are watermen. They live in water also, they come out, and on land also.